I have sound.
Really?
Yeah.
Have her check her computer. Sometimes if your computer sounds off, then everything's off.
To last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We gonna celebrate your party with you. Come on. Celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Celebration. We're gonna celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on. Yeah. It's your celebration.
To last throughout the years.
So bring your good times and your laughter too.
We gon' celebrate your party with you. Come on now.
Well, welcome everyone. Good morning. My name is Laurel Lieftert, and I want to welcome you to the Namakwa Unitarian Universalist Congregation on this beautiful Sunday morning. I use the pronouns she, her, and hers, and we here at Namakwa are a very warm, welcoming, generous, justice-loving community of seekers. And we are a people of healing who know that we don't need to think alike to love alike. And that is such a key part of who we are in the world. And whoever you are, however you feel after this roller coaster of a week, you'll have a chance to maybe share a little bit about how you're feeling, whether you're feeling happy or tired or sad or uncertain, maybe cautiously optimistic, jubilant. So many potential feelings, and you all, whatever your feelings are welcome here today. It's really, really good to be together. And I wonder if we have any first-time visitors today. If so, I'd like to invite you, if you'd like to continue connecting with us or find out more about the congregation, to just put your name and contact information in the chat room, and you will be contacted by Alice Kane, our membership chair, or maybe Janet Gillette, who often welcomes visitors. But we truly are an inclusive community, and we seek every day to walk our talk. We're still in the time of the pandemic, unfortunately. It hasn't ended yet, but because of that, that's why we're meeting virtually instead of in our building. And our services are always recorded and posted on the website. Sarah Suriani is our faithful Zoomer today, and so she'll keep everyone muted, but you will have a chance to talk during Joys and Sorrows, and then at the end during the social hour in our virtual coffee hour. And so now, with no further ado, we have Chad Escallier as our worship associate today, and he'll read the words of the chalice lighting, and I'll light our chalice.
Good morning, everyone. This is called In Need of Healing by Maureen Killeran. Welcome you who come in need of healing, you who are confused or have been betrayed. Welcome with your problems and your pain. Welcome to your joys and your wonderings. Welcome your need to hope, your longing for assurance. Instead of answers, here may you find safety for your questions. Instead of promises, may you find community for your struggles. People with hands and hearts to join you in engaging the challenges and changes of our day. Come, let us worship together. And if you will join me in reciting our congregational affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church and service its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Thank you, Chad. And after this rather dramatic week of waiting for the election results, the slow counting of the votes, and as we begin to really comprehend the historical significance of what has happened, we have our first Black and Asian American woman vice president, which is huge. You know, it was just 100 years ago when women finally won the right to vote. And so this is indeed an auspicious time in our country. There's still a lot of challenges ahead, but what I wanted to do now is to take time to just take a deep breath and soak in the moment. So please enjoy this song, and if you feel like it, you can sing along, but breathe and soak in the moment.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out,
I said, thank you, Sarah. And no worries, we're all still breathing and we're all still soaking in the moment. And we have a very special story today. It's told by the writer. She reads it. Her name is Patrice Karsh. And I wonder how many of you know about the invisible spring. I mean, the invisible string, because that's what we're going to hear about. And if you didn't know it already, I think you're going to be happy to find out about this.
Hi, everyone. I'm Patrice Karst, and here we all are, pandemic 2020. So I thought I would make a little video for you because I wrote a book 20 years ago called The Invisible String. And if there was ever a time when the invisible string mattered, it's right now. When we can't be with our loved ones or see them in person, just to know that we're still connected and always will be is so important. So if you were ever a child, or if you are a child now, I would love to read to you my book, The Invisible String. So get comfortable and let's have a story time. And if you think you're too old to hear a children's book, you're wrong, because everything we ever really needed to learn, we could learn from children's books. At least that's how I feel right now. So The Invisible String is dedicated to children of the world and the magic of their strings. Liza and Jeremy, the twins, were asleep one calm and quiet night. Suddenly, it began to rain very hard. Thunder rumbled until it got so loud that it woke them up. "Mommy, Mommy," they cried out as they ran to her. "Don't worry, you two. It's just the storm making all that noise. Go back to bed." "Well, we want to stay close to you," said Jeremy. "We're scared." Mom said, "You know, we're always together, no matter what. But how can we be together when you're out here and we're in bed?" said Liza. Mom held something right in front of them and said, "This is how." Rubbing their sleepy eyes, the twins came closer to see what Mom was holding. I was just about your age when my mommy first told me about the invisible string. "I don't see a string," said Jeremy. "Well, you don't need to see the invisible string. People who love each other are always connected by a very special string made of love." "But if you can't see it, how do you know it's there?" asked Liza. "Even though you can't see it with your eyes, you can feel it with your heart and know that you're always connected to everyone you love." When you're at school and you miss me, your love travels all the way along the string until I feel it tug on my heart. And when you tug it right back, we feel it in our hearts, said Jeremy. Does Jasper the cat have an invisible string, Liza asked. She sure does, said Mom. And best friends like me and Lucy? Asked Liza. Best friends, too. Well, how far can the string reach? Anywhere and everywhere, Mom said. Would it reach me, even if I were a submarine captain deep in the ocean? Yes, Mom said, even there. Or a mountain climber? Even there. A dancer in France? Even there. A jungle explorer? Even there. about an astronaut out in space? Yes, even there. Then Jeremy quietly asked, can my string reach all the way to Uncle Brian in heaven? Yes, even there. Does the string go away when you're mad at us? Never, said Mom. Love is stronger than anger. And as long as love is in your heart, the string will always be there. Even when you get older and can't agree about things like what movie to see, or what game to play in the back seat, or what time to go to bed. Oh, that's right. You two should be in bed. And with that, they all laughed as Mom chased the twins back to their beds. Within a few minutes, they were asleep, even though the storm was still making the same loud noises outside. As they slept, they started dreaming of all the invisible strings they have, and all the strings their friends have, and their friends have, and their friends have, until everyone in the world was connected by invisible strings. And from deep inside, they could now clearly see no one is ever alone. And that's the end of my story.
So we are all connected with invisible strings. We knew that. That's like our interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part. We have a special ceremony today, and so I'd like you to envision if we were sitting in the sanctuary that I would invite up all of the elected leaders, because today we will officially install them. And so to adapt to Zoom, what I'd like to do is introduce each of our elected leaders, and then Kathy will lead us in the actual ceremony. But I'd like to begin by asking all of the board members, if you'll please unmute. And I think for the rest of you, if you can go up to your right hand, top right hand, and do a speaker view, then you'll be able to see the person who I'm introducing. So if you want to get on speaker view, I'm going to now introduce the Board of Trustees. And for each of you members, if you please, when I say your name, just say something simple like hello or good morning. And that way people will understand or will be able to associate the face with the person. So all the Board of Trustees. We'll begin with Doug Stewart, who is our president.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be with you.
And Sarah Jane Wilhelm is our vice president.
Good morning, everyone.
Rebecca Williamson, our secretary.
Hello, good morning.
Dick Barton, our treasurer.
As Robert Latham predicted 4 years ago, out of the ashes, the phoenix will rise.
There you go. And our trustees at large, Pete Buckmeyer.
Hello, everybody.
Oh,
Leonard Sokolowski.
Good morning. What a relief.
Yeah. Okay, and so Board of Trustees, you can turn off your mics now. And I'd like to invite the Committee on Shared Ministries to unmute yourselves. So I'd like to introduce first our co-chairs. There is Sarah Suriani, who's our Zoomer today.
Good morning.
And Brian Jarvis, the other co-chair.
Good morning, and to echo Leonard, what a relief.
Oh, and I Jesse, I didn't think I forgot you. So let's go back to the board. Our other trustee at large, who's been on the board for a while now and who I value very much, so I apologize, is Jessie Allen Young.
Morning, everybody.
Mother of Max. Yeah, sorry, Jessie. I'm glad you said something. And so now back to the Committee on Shared Ministries. We've gotten the co-chairs, Sarah and Brian, and then Tom Mitchell,
Good morning.
Fred Schreckinger,
Good morning, especially good morning.
and Jonna Drake. Jonna, if you want to unmute, I know you're here today. Well, we'll pick her up later, but I did see that Jonna is with us. And so go ahead to Committee on Shared Ministries and mute your mics back up. And then finally, the Leadership Development Committee that managed to recruit 7 elected leaders for our spring congregational meeting when we held the election.
Hello, I'm here.
Okay, there's
Okay, great.
Jonna. All right, thank you. So that's Jonna Drake from Committee on Shared Ministries. And so to what we call the LDC, the Leadership Development Committee, our chair, Kathy Hartman.
I say hallelujah.
All right. And Sherry Sokolowski.
Great day.
All right. And then last but not least, Susan Moody.
Hello, everybody. It's a wonderful day.
Thank you. All right. So Kathy, take it away. And what I'd like to do is have everyone, you've heard the cacophony of when everybody talks at the same time. So I think for today, we'll have Kathy read Kathy's part. And then Doug Stewart, as board president, would you mind reading the part of the leaders? And then all of you leaders, mute your mics, but go ahead and speak out loud, because what we're doing is creating a covenant between you and the congregation.
As the elected leaders, we hold this congregation in a sacred trust. Leaders are stewards of the well-being and vitality of the congregation and its mission.
We are the leaders of this congregation.
Leaders take responsibility for listening to the congregation and moving the congregation forward in service of its mission and vision.
We will listen to the congregation and generate enthusiasm to move the congregation forward.
Leaders embrace challenges with optimism.
We embrace the challenges facing us. We are optimistic and view our challenges as opportunities to grow.
Leaders strive to embody the values and promises in our congregational covenant to better serve the common good.
We commit ourselves to serve the common good and will strive to embody the values and promises in our congregational covenant.
Leaders cultivate and encourage a vibrant spirit at the center of our congregation to help it thrive and grow.
We will nourish the spirit among us to strengthen and sustain this congregation's health.
Leaders call forth leadership in other people.
We will encourage new leaders.
Leaders rejoice in what we do together.
We rejoice in the bold adventure that we are taking together.
May all who are members of the Namakwa Unitarian Universalist congregation enter into this covenant with our leaders. Please join me and read your part out loud, though your microphones will still be muted. We enter into this covenant joyfully and gratefully. We give you our trust to lead our congregation into the future. Thank you for your dedication to the noble mission and vision of this congregation.
Let us join together to go forth in this bold adventure, committed to serve, learn, and grow as we work to create a beloved community within and beyond our congregation.
Thank you all for your service.
And then we would give them a raucous round of applause. Thank you. Thanks, Kathy, and thank you sincerely, all you leaders you do. It's called work that is love made visible. And so now for joys and sorrows today, I would like to try something different, which is to invite you to type into the chat how you're feeling today. Some of you have mentioned it, and then what I'll do is read out loud, and then we'll go into our regular joys and sorrows. So go ahead and type into the chat room. How are you doing today? Whew, relieved. I feel such relief. Super. I'm elated, relieved, hopeful, and finally had a good night's sleep. Feeling relieved, reconnected, feel like a captive who has been set free. Woohoo! We've got a chance now. Relieved, grateful, tired, relieved and joyful, sleeping a lot. I'm so happy to be part of, let's see. I'm so relieved and joyful for all the people in our country. We could feel like we can breathe again. Cautious optimism, joyful. I'm feeling a huge weight lifted, but I am also aware that there are many who are not happy about this. We have much work to do. Nathan is really, really happy, celebrating before we get to work on all that needs to be done. Excited for the future, hopeful and relieved, thrilled and hopeful that we can get COVID and fires under control. Full of hope, can sleep now, relief, excited to wake up, relieved but concerned for the other side. Hope we can all heal. Ecstatic, grateful and cautiously hopeful. Feel the world is safer. Yes, to all of that and even more. So it's so great to be together. I wish we could physically be together, but given the circumstances, this is just absolutely wonderful. Finally, some sanity. Indeed. So thank you, everyone. Ready to go to work on the Georgia campaigns? Yes. Go to work and donate money. Pray that it's on my altar. Okay, energized. Send money and energy to Georgia. Yes. Bells ringing around the world. Yeah, I almost went to church yesterday and rang the bell. Anything else to add? Thank you, everyone. So we tend to be progressive in case any newcomers can't tell, but all are welcome. Thank you, Doug. All are welcome, all are worthy. And so to invite any of you who have personal joys and sorrows to maybe raise your hand or unmute yourself. And by the way, for all that we just did, I'm going to put in lots and lots of stones. Yeah, we could ring the bell today. Yeah, Kathy lives right near the church, so she could go ring it, but don't leave. You could do it afterwards. So does anyone have a personal joy and sorrow beyond what we've already said? Oh, Vicky says that the deaths of two friends makes me sad. Sorry. What this represents is into the arms of our community, either to celebrate or send comfort. Francie asks prayers for Jeff Smilden's father, who's been diagnosed with COVID-19. So far he's asymptomatic. He's in Iowa right now. Yes, Cherry.
I'd like to send prayers for Barbara,
Right.
who's been in the hospital a few days and is having health problems.
Thank you. Yeah, Barbara Fleming, prayers for Barbara. And Marion is saying that her sweet fur baby, who's Bambi, used to be Donna Ammon's dog, is going in for surgery tomorrow for cancer. So please keep Bambi in your thoughts. And Susan, did you want to speak?
Yes, I do. A young man that I watched grow up with my sons and became a firefighter in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where my sons were raised, has a very, very serious case of COVID. He's a wonderful guy. He saved so many lives. His name is Randy Blake. So I'd like you to think of his name and think good thoughts, and maybe we can pull him through. But it chokes me up to think about him.
Oh, so did you say Randy Blake?
Randy Blake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Susan.
Yeah.
And actually, Vicki is asking what hospital he's in because what hospital is?
He's in Stillwater, Oklahoma, but he's in the Tulsa hospital. Yeah.
Okay.
And he's on a ventilator and he's really in bad shape. So,
Oh, boy.
yeah.
And Barbara Fleming was in PVH, Pacific Valley Hospital, but she had told me that she was going to be discharged yesterday. And so I think if she's not here with us, maybe she's not discharged yet, but I would recommend sending cards to her home. And also concerns for Sharon Reef. Oh, okay, so Barbara is back home. And Deborah and Joseph, good to see you. Haven't seen you for a while. So Joanna visited, so their daughter visited from LA for a few days, and they went to see the Frida Kahlo exhibit in Denver. Wow. And Atulia was asking Susan how old Randy is.
Well, he'll always be a little boy playing under the bleachers to me, but he's 44 now.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? Janet?
Couple of things to bring us back to earth, to bring me back to earth, besides how wonderful the election turned out. But I got turned down for another job. And then yesterday, I learned that my youngest daughter, Sarah, has been diagnosed with COVID-19. So far, she said it just feels like a really bad sinus infection. But I haven't heard from her yet today. So, of course, I'm concerned about that. Sarah Farina, that's her name. And that's my baby's baby. She just turned 47.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you, Janet. And good luck on getting a job.
Thank you. I'll keep trying. That's all I can do.
Right. And Francie was saying that Jess's dad says he's used up 5 of his 9 lives. So it sounds like he's going to be okay. And anybody else?
Hannah has her hand raised.
Hannah?
Hi, everyone. I just wanted to introduce you guys to Harmony. She was born on October 31st. And so, yeah, we just enjoyed our first week at home with her. So.
Wow. Congratulations on your pumpkin baby, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I'm so happy for you and for Mike and for Harmony. Glenn says congrats. Anybody else? Vicki welcomes baby Harmony. Lots of congratulations pouring in to you. Curtis and Donna, good to see you too. Well, I'll put in the rest of them. So that represents the joys and sorrows that may not be spoken among us, and also the joys and sorrows beyond our walls. I always have 2 candles lit representing those. And our new tradition is In our joy and in our sorrow, the people say we are not alone. So in our joy and in our sorrow, we are not alone. And now the musical response. Enjoy this song by Ali Halpert.
Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. The weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. The weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go. The weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
Oh. Well, now Chad, who is one of our new worship associates, will make his debut with a reflection called Healing Through Habits. Thank you, Chad.
Hello, everyone. 2020 has been tough for all of us. For me, it's been hard. I live alone, family out of state, and at times I felt this overwhelming sense of dread, especially at the start of the pandemic. I don't know if you felt similarly. What day is it? Is it Monday? Is it Wednesday? Identifying the day of the week can be hard, especially when you're in the same space day in and day out. I knew I didn't want to continue to feel this way, so I joined a Unitarian Universalist book club right here at Namakwa. This was the Happiness Book Club. We read The Happiness Advantage by Sean Aker, and the book talks about 7 evidence-based principles on happiness. It's a New York Times best-selling book, and Mr. Aker is an expert on the connection of happiness and success. I want to focus on one of his happiness principles, which deals with habits. Mr. Aker talks about becoming happy through forming positive habits and abandoning bad habits. Another book that really helped me delve deeper into forming bad habits, or in forming good habits and breaking bad habits, is a book called Atomic Habits, written by James Clear. But if you're like me, you would say, that's great, but don't you need a lot of willpower to form good habits? And that made me think of the marshmallow test. You can find it on YouTube. It's a willpower test to an extent. And the experiment consists of a small child in a room sitting next to a table with a marshmallow in the middle of the room. And the child is told by an adult who's in the same room, you can have it now, or you can wait. I'm going to leave the room. And when I come back, if you don't eat it, I'll give you a second one. And so it begins. The child is there alone in this boring room with the marshmallow right in the middle of the table. The child will touch it. The child will sniff it, dance around it, do anything to prevent from having it. Some kids eat it and some wait. I don't know how I would do personally, and maybe you don't know how you would do either. Having the marshmallow right away kind of sounds good. But that's okay. Willpower is not the cornerstone of forming a habit. Happy or successful people, as the authors mention, create environments that limit temptation so you don't have to use willpower as much. So how do you create this temptation limiting environment? Play with activation energy. Activation energy is the linchpin to forming good habits and kicking bad ones. So what is that? It's the energy, or activation energy is a chemistry term, and it's the initial spark to catalyze a reaction. So it's the energy needed to start a habit, good or bad. Here's an example. The author found himself coming home from work after a long day and plopping himself on the couch. He would grab his remote, turn on the TV, and he would binge watch a show. Now, the first 30 minutes were fine, but he noticed his happiness levels plummet after continuing to watch the show. So the energy, think about it, activation energy to watch TV is actually pretty small. I mean, it takes 2 seconds to turn the power on. So what he did was he wanted to increase the activation energy a little bit. So he took his remote control, took the batteries out like I'm doing now, and he put them, into another room. So if you can imagine, the activation energy increased a little bit. Now I wanted to apply this example myself, and I didn't take the batteries out of my remote. What I did was I moved my 56-inch TV from the living room into my closet. Now, luckily, I have enough space and I don't have a ton of clothes in there, but think about the energy for me. It's literally a 56-inch activation energy to, if I want to watch TV, I have to bring it into the other room. And the author didn't stop with removing the batteries. He also this is Mr. Aker, by the way, in The Happiness Advantage. The author wanted to replace a bad habit with a good one. He wanted to read more. So he put books, one, for example, near the table by the couch when he got home, because he wanted to reduce that activation energy to read. So let's go through the process again. Mr. Aker comes home from work. He's exhausted. He crashes on the couch, grabs the remote, tries to turn the TV on. It doesn't work. Batteries are not in there. And then he looks around, and conveniently, there is a book right there for him to pick up and read. That he created this positive environment. How about we look at something else like social interactions? How about forming a habit to have more of these? It's social interactions. It can be hard during COVID. The author even has a dedicated principle on how social interactions increase our happiness and well-being. I got a little nervous. As I said, I live alone, family's out of state, a lot of my friends are out of state. But the key was activation energy. So think back to that. Now, typically social interactions require that we drive somewhere to meet someone, right? And they require that we have to make sure that the people we meet are nice, which can be hard to find. So the activation energy for a social interaction is actually kind of big, right? But this has changed. Maybe not on purpose, but through our circumstances. There might be some silver lining here with COVID-19. For example, we can go to church by opening our laptops and clicking a link, small activation energy. We can chat with some nice people in the breakout room after church, small activation energy. We can join a Zoom book club on happiness. Again, small activation energy. I've done these things and they've increased my happiness. And these are hard times we are going through. And we may have formed good or bad habits. I know I've formed a few of both. But learning to control activation energy Increase it for negative habits, decrease it for positive habits. Will help us be happy and heal during this tough time. And you know what? Don't worry if you have a few marshmallows along the way as you form good habits and kick bad habits. May it be so.
Have a marshmallow on me, Chad. Thank you. Really, really well done. Thank you. And so now for our offertory, we are having our half plate recipient alternatives to violence still. And so Sarah will post the donation link, and you're welcome to click on the donation link if you'd like to make your donation virtually, or you're always welcome to just send a check to the church. Because we're running a little bit late, we're going to have an offertory song called Never One Thing, but we won't listen to the whole thing. So do enjoy what we hear of it.
I am the claw, never one thing, no, not one thing at all. I'm a street fighter, I'm a prayer for peace. I'm a holy roller, I'm a honeybee. I am the truth, I am a lie. I am the ground, I am the sky. I am the silence, I am the call. Never one thing, no, not one thing at all. I'm the underbelly, I am the claw. Never one thing, no, not one thing at all. I'm a street fighter, I'm a breath for peace. I'm a holy roller, I'm a honeybee. I am hope, I am defeat. I am broken, I am complete. I am the grace, I am the fall. Never one thing, no, not one thing at all. I'm the underbelly, I am the claw. Never one thing, no, not one thing at all. I'm a street fighter, I'm a prayer for peace. I'm a holy roller, I'm a honeybee.
So to bless our offering, we dedicate ourselves, and these are our offerings, to the vision of this congregation, which is to radiate love, peace, and justice as we work together to build beloved community. Thank you for your generosity. You know, in an election, as in any contest, there are, by necessity, winners and losers. But as the song just said, it's never one thing. I am hope, I am defeat. I am broken, I am complete. I am the grace, I am the fall. Never one thing, no, not one thing at all. So the question that we are living with now, in the midst of our joy and relief, is, so now what? There are so many unanswered questions about what will happen next. So what will happen between now and the inauguration in January? What can be accomplished in the next 4 years in a deeply divided nation like ours is right now? So President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris have stated clearly that they seek not to divide, but to unify. President-elect Biden proclaimed that it is time to heal. So how can we, as individuals and as a congregation, be a people of healing? It may be overwhelming to contemplate. Where do we even begin? But let me remind you of the mantra of the UU minister Forrest Church, his distilled wisdom, which I regard as the simplicity on the other side of complexity. He says, be who you are. After all, everyone else is taken. Love what you have, which is about gratitude. Next week, Janan and I will explore gratitude more deeply. And then the third one is do what you can. And so I have a few suggestions about things to keep in mind as each of us does what we can. One thing is to seek out what I would call authentic, not cotton candy, but authentic sources of hope. For example, we can learn from how other deeply polarized nations have managed to move forward beyond hate, violence, and division. I'm thinking of South Africa and the truth and reconciliation process that succeeded in ending apartheid. Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who Chessie Jackson called the Martin Luther King of South Africa, wrote an essay called No Future Without Forgiveness. He writes that the only way to break the cycles of conflict and division is to go beyond retributive justice to restorative justice, to move on to forgiveness, because without forgiveness, there is no future. The truth and reconciliation process used to end apartheid in South Africa, while flawed, which everything human is flawed, serves as a beacon of hope. The truth and reconciliation process offers a possible paradigm to deal with conflicts that some see as intractable. After Tutu's experience ending apartheid in South Africa, he now believes that no problem anywhere can ever again be considered to be intractable. And he said, there is hope for you too. As many of you may know, a few years ago, Namakwa's Board of Trustees adopted a policy of restorative practices as our process to deal with harm done to the fabric of our community. Which brings me to the second thing to remember. We are all connected by the invisible string that Patrice Karst talked about in our Time for All Ages, as in our seventh principle that we are part of the interdependent web of all existence, and of the ancient myth of Tikkun Olam from the Jewish Kabbalah about repairing the world. The image is of vessels that once were whole, but then were shattered, radiating holy sparks throughout the chaos of a ruptured world. Everyone has sparks of this divine light. Maybe we would call it the inherent worth and dignity of everyone. And to repair the world, the goal is to discern and discover these holy sparks and to draw them back into wholeness, to repair and restore the broken vessels. So I really love this vision of holy sparks in everyone. And did you know that quantum mechanics has discovered something similar? That everything in our universe is made up of the same thing, stardust, from the stars that exploded, and now we are all part of this interconnected cosmic dance of matter and energy. Repairing and healing, rejoining these holy sparks is a religious task. Religion comes from the Latin word religare, to reconnect. And as UU minister Mark Morrison Reeds writes, the central task of the religious community is to unveil the bonds that bind each to all. There is a connectedness, a relationship discovered amid the particulars of our own lives and the lives of others. Once felt, it inspires us to act for justice. And then he continues that it is the church that assures us that we are not struggling for justice on our own, but as members of a larger community. The religious community is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see all that must be done, all that must be seen, and our strength too limited to do all that must be done. Together, our vision widens and our strength is renewed. And so, this means that you already are doing something important by being part of this religious community, as together we work in so many different ways to repair our world. And now, finally, one other idea of something you can do, and that is to be kind. A few months ago, Shirley Rawson gave Francie and me a book called Healing the Divide, Poems of Kindness and Connection. And the epigraph at the beginning of the book is a quote by Khalil Gibran: "Your neighbor is your other self dwelling behind a wall. In understanding, all walls fall down." The editor, James Cruz, in his introduction wrote, "Because of the barrage of blame and shame streaming daily from our screens, and because the media seems intent on convincing us all how divided our country has become, I desperately needed to find stories of people coming together, bridging the gap and healing that so-called divide between us, to share instances of kindness and vulnerability." In closing, then, I want to offer you one of the poems from the book. It's called Small Kindnesses by Danusha Lamiris, who's a woman of color. She's Black and half Caribbean, the daughter of immigrants, like someone else who has been in the news lately. And she currently serves as the Poet Laureate of Santa Cruz County of California. I've been thinking about the way when you walk down a crowded aisle, people pull their legs to let you by, or how strangers still say bless you when someone sneezes, a leftover from the bubonic plague. Don't die, we're saying. And sometimes when you spill lemons from your grocery bag, someone else will help you pick them up. Mostly, we don't want to harm each other. We want to be handed our cup of coffee hot and to say thank you to the person handing it, to smile at them and for them to smile back, for the waitress to call us honey when she sets down the bowl of clam chowder, and for the driver in the red pickup truck to let us pass. We have so little of each other now, so far from tribe and fire. Only these brief moments of exchange. What if they are the true dwelling of the holy, these fleeting temples we make together when we say, "Here, have my seat. Go ahead, you first. I like your hat." So do what you can, my friends. Remember the stories of hope. Remember the invisible string. We are all connected. And remember to be kind. And now for our closing song, a reminder of those things. Loving kindness.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. And may I be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. And may you be happy. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease, and may you be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease, and may we be happy. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. And may we
Chad?
All right, this is called Fitted for This Day by Kimberly Quinn Johnson. You'll notice that the first and last lines, we are the ones we have been waiting for, are from a poem for South African women by June Jordan, which she presented at the UN on August 9th, 1978. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are not perfect, but we are perfectly fitted for this day. We are not without fault, but we can be honest to face our past as we chart a new future. We are the ones we have been waiting for. May we be bold and courageous to chart that new future. May we have faith in a future that is not known. We are the ones we have been waiting for.
Bless our future leaders with wisdom and strength, courage and insight, balanced by a deep humanity and humility, and a love of peace and reconciliation. May they lead us to a time when liberty and equality will reign supreme throughout the land. Let the light of our U.S. democracy once again shine brightly, a beacon of hope for every land and every people. And may we do our part to heal the divide. It's been so good to be together today. And so just two announcements before we have a chance to break into smaller groups for our virtual coffee hour. One is that next week, the upcoming service is on the Way of Gratitude, as I mentioned. So Jan Wright and I will be presenting what was our favorite workshop at the recent General Assembly last June. And then following our service next week will be our fall congregational meeting. So now that we have our leaders officially installed, we'll be looking forward to the rest of this church year, and we'll also have a chance to have conversations in our listening activity. So I'm hoping that we'll have a big crowd next week and that you will all stay and help guide the direction of our beloved congregation. So thank you to Sarah for being our Zoomer. And now if you want to stick around and be in smaller groups, and maybe talk a little bit more about how you're feeling about the election and the future of our country.